Okay, practical tips. Just starting off, what do? I don't work out, I don't eat well. What are some things I can do? I'll give you 5 tips. If you can do these 5 things for 40 days, I promise you're gonna see results, okay? I promise you. What's up, everyone? My name's Eddie, and I'm glad you're joining me here. You know, I think you clicked on this video because you saw that it talks about starting from zero and what it means to actually begin a process towards good health and wellness. And where do you even start? And so a lot of people start with different diet tips and different exercise routines, and all those things are really good, and you should do those. You should find those. And in fact, I've got a video, 6 health hacks regarding this, and these are the ways you can start and begin to learn the process of what it means to eat well, and to think well, and to diet well, and all these things, and exercise well, of course. But sometimes it goes beyond just that. There actually does have to be a why attached to why you decide to eat healthy. And so today I'm gonna give you some good framework for what it means to begin from nothing. Like, how do I start my journey? What do I even think about first? And so we're gonna do that by first starting thinking about this idea of vision. If you don't know where you're going, how are you gonna know when you get there? That's what vision's all about. Who do you wanna be when you get older, right? Who do you wanna be in 6 months, in a year, in 12 weeks, in 10 years? Where do you wanna be? What do you wanna feel like? What do you wanna do? These are all the things you have to think about when it comes to vision, when you're crafting a vision for your life. Now, you may say something like this: I wanna be healthy for my children. I wanna be there for my kids. I wanna walk my daughter down the aisle at her wedding. I wanna have the dance with my son at his wedding. You may be thinking, I wanna see my grandchildren get older. Or you may say, I've got a contest that's in 16 weeks. I've got a competition. I've got a Spartan race, a bodybuilding competition, a marathon, whatever it is. I'm training for a sport. You may have all these different things that you're trying to learn or think about, or you've got a hobby you wanna get better at. Maybe you wanna get better at surfing or soccer or volleyball. All of these things are applicable here in your vision. You've got to begin to define your vision for your life. Now, so what is that vision? I want you to get some paper. Maybe it's not right now, but at some point, or a note on your app, on your phone. And you need to think about, what do I want to be? Who do I want to become? What is my ultimate why? You could say, for me, you know, when I played football, it was, I want to be the MVP of the league, right? Or I want to be the MVP of my team, or I want to be first team all conference. Or maybe it's, I want to compete in a Spartan race. I'm so out of shape. I remember my wife, she ran a Spartan race 3 months after our 3rd child was born. Her goal was, I want to get in shape so I can run this Spartan race. And she did it. She was able to do it. She competed. And she would tell you it wasn't her best, but I think it was her best actual accomplishment because of everything she had to go through. And so what is that vision for you? You have to begin to think about, what do you want to accomplish with your life? Once you have that vision statement, you can do something. You can define your life, and then you get to plan it out backwards, right? Define your life forward, live it out backward. But you need a vision. You have to know where you're going, because once you get there, how are you gonna know you made it? Exactly. Vision. Now you gotta think about this second concept of motivation. If you're here, you're at least motivated enough to click on a video. And clicking on a video is a great start, but you know, and I know, that that's not enough, right? There has to be more than that. But here's the concept behind motivation that people lack. You know, so my story is that I played in the NFL. I played for 5 years in the NFL. I also played college football. I had multiple surgeries in that time, but I was still able to get drafted and play in the NFL. And a lot of people think that athletes like LeBron James or Tiger Woods or Serena Williams or whatever are just so much more motivated than other people. But the reality is, motivation is never gonna just strike you like lightning. If you're sitting around praying for motivation, I think you've got the wrong mindset. Okay, motivation doesn't strike you like lightning. You have to get up every single day, and you have to create momentum to then begin to build that motivation going forward. So instead of thinking motivation, think momentum. Now, momentum is very difficult to start at the beginning, right? Very hard. And you think about a boulder, right? Pushing up a boulder on a hill. And it's very difficult to start moving, or pushing it, let's say, flat to start. And it's very hard to start moving. But once you start pushing it, it gets easier and easier and easier, right? That's momentum. You got mass and you've got velocity, okay? You're pushing that rock slowly, 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 and then you hit that downward slope on the hill and it just starts flying, right? And so once you gain momentum, the motivation gets easier. You see, motivation is actually very difficult to have right initially. You might have a little spark of it, but after a couple workouts or after a couple days of eating healthy or a couple months of eating healthy, it's gonna wane. But once you get that momentum over the course of time, you're gonna see it's easier to get motivated because you're starting to see results a lot faster. So don't think motivation right away. Think momentum. Momentum is a way better way to think about this process, at least in my idea. And also, as you begin to build momentum, you're gonna have to think about a concept of habits. What does it mean to create healthy habits? Because ultimately, if we have a vision in our life, we're seeing this big nebulous goal at the end of our journey. But the thing about reaching that goal is reaching goals is all built on small habits, right? And so as you get to thresholds of momentum, you're gonna have to create new habits all along the way. So start with small habits, right? You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And the way you change your direction overnight is through small daily habits. And those daily habits accumulate to a weekly habit. And those weekly habits accumulate to a monthly habit and then a yearly habit, right? And then they become lifestyle changes that are just ultimately in your life forever. So that's a great way to think about it. What are the small habits? So think about today. What are the small habits that you do today that are gonna point you towards your ultimate destination? What are they? So for me, I can tell you a couple. For me, I wake up every morning and I work out before 6 a.m. So usually working out by 5:30, that's a habit for me that I just take in. Now, not every morning I wake up do I have the motivation to do it, right? But I think I've created enough momentum with following that habit every day that now it's becoming motivating for me to wake up. There's a habit you're building. Now for me, another habit is I drink a lot of water. I try to drink 8 20-ounce cans a day of water. I have a giant canister that I fill up 8 times. That's another habit. For you, you might say it's gonna be sleeping 8 hours a night. For you, it may be I'm gonna drink water or unsweetened iced tea at every meal. I'm not gonna have any sugary drinks. That's how you're gonna begin to build up towards your goal, is through these small habits every single day. The next thing you think about is, for most people, they need a time period. They need to have a set time that allows them to mentally check in. And so you may say, I'm gonna do this for 30 days. I'm gonna do this for 60 days. I'm gonna do this for 90 days. Most studies show that it takes at least 40 days to create a habit. I'd start there. I wouldn't do any less than that. I would say set 40 days ahead, I'm gonna start doing these certain habits. So I'm gonna drink water only for 40 days. I'm gonna go to the gym 4 times a week for 40 days. I'm gonna eat no carbohydrates for 40 days. Whatever it is, wherever level you're at, choose a goal that's easily attainable for you that you can follow. And so choose that habit. And so for me, maybe it's not maybe the habit over the course of time isn't a time period of 40 days. Maybe it's to the wedding that you're gonna go to, or to the competition that you're aspiring towards, or your kid's graduation, or whatever it may be. Set a time period that is actually attainable for you. And if it happens to coincide with like a summer vacation, even better, right? You have something to look forward to. I know some people will even buy clothes that they know that fits them the size lower to help them motivate them to go towards that goal, so that they can create that time period, stick to that time period rather, with those habits. Next thing you have to think about is consistency. Consistency is king. Or so many people there's so many flash in the pan diet and exercises. There's so many YouTube channels. If you go look, and you'll see someone saying, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds and I'm gonna vlog daily, and then they'll vlog 3 times and then they're done. They don't ever show back up because they quit. Consistency is the name of the game. If you can be consistent, regardless of what you put together in your life in terms of a diet plan or an exercise plan, you're gonna win. It doesn't matter if you're paleo, vegan, keto, vegetarian, Whole30, whatever Mediterranean diet, doesn't matter what diet you put together. If you're consistent and it's a decent diet, you're gonna win. So think consistency over content. Consistency over content. Don't think about content yet. When you're just starting, think about consistency. So how can you go for the 40, the 90, the 120 days straight where you're being fully consistent with the parameters you've laid out for yourself? Now, maybe along the way, you starting to realize that you need to tweak some things. That's great, do that. And that's a next level type step, to tweak, to change, to be flexible. But stay consistent with the diet. Don't change things for the worse because you need help. Consistently stay with things. And then after your period's over, maybe 40 days or 90 days, or whatever it is, then you say, maybe I need to dial back a bit. That's totally fine. Consistency over content. The next thing you need to realize when you're just getting started is that you're gonna have to, I'm gonna give a quote here, okay? Embrace the suck. Now this comes from a Navy SEAL friend of mine, a retired Navy SEAL friend of mine, who he said some of the vernacular in their training was to embrace the suck. Sometimes life sucks, right? And when it comes to exercising and diet, at times, if you have a goal, it can suck. It can sometimes suck, especially if you're used to eating so much sugar and consuming lots of carbohydrates or not working out. And so your legs are gonna be sore, you're gonna be tired from lifting, you're gonna be tired from running, your feet are gonna be sore, you may have blisters from running. You're gonna be sore when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna need Epsom salt baths, and it's gonna hurt to get up out of your chair and all of these different things. And it's gonna be hard not to have the ice cream after dinner every day. You're gonna have to embrace the suck. You know, quick story on that. I remember my first training camp in the NFL. And I'm a rookie. I went to college in Idaho, and so it gets warm, but in Washington, D.C., it's very humid there. And I remember sitting in that meeting room, and a bunch of the rookies were sitting in the back, and I'm a rookie, and we're sitting in the back, and a couple of the guys are going back and forth at each other. Man, it's so hot out there. It's so warm. I hate how hot it is here. I just don't like it. You know, I went to college here, and it's just not as hot. And one of the veterans turned around, I'll never forget, he yelled and said, "Hey, it's supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be hot." Exactly. Training camp is supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be warm. It's supposed to get you in shape. It's your diet, your plan is supposed to be difficult at times. It's supposed to be. If it wasn't difficult, everybody would do it. But you're not like everybody because you're watching a video like this. You are someone who wants to make actual change. And so keep in mind that as things get hard, say to yourself, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. Because that's normal. It's normal to be for a workout, for a diet plan, to be very, very difficult for you. The last thing I'll leave you with before I get into some of the more practical tips on how to start is that you shouldn't pursue normality. Don't be normal. Look at normal today. Normal today is sick, overweight, underperforming, and living non-optimally. That's what normal is today. Normal is 91% of our diseases in our prescriptions being filled in the United States are for chronic disease caused by diet and exercise related stuff. Consider that. That's what normal is. Normal is by 2030, $47 trillion being spent worldwide on chronic disease that we can prevent with our diets. That is normal. Don't be normal, be weird. Weird is somebody who's in shape after 30 years old. Weird is somebody who cares about what they eat on a daily basis. Weird is someone who goes to the potluck or the party and doesn't eat all of the snacks and maybe brings with them some healthy food that they can eat just in case, or cooks something healthy for everyone to eat. And it's really good because they've learned to cook because they cook their own food. They don't do takeout. That is somebody who's weird in today's culture. So don't be normal, be weird. Okay, practical tips. Just starting off, what do? I don't work out, I don't eat well. What are some things I can do? I'll give you 5 tips. If you can do these 5 things for 40 days, I promise you're gonna see results, okay? I promise you. First thing you wanna do, walk. Walking, yes, just walk. You will be surprised at how well walking regularly will just rip body fat and body weight off of you early on, especially if you haven't done it in a while. Now, if you're really overweight, if you're even in obese territory, start walking around the block. Then slowly increase that twice around the block. If you're someone starting that's has maybe been worked out in the floor but hasn't done it in years, walk a mile. I live right next to a state park. I hike up in there almost every day, and build your threshold and get up to the point where you're walking 2, 3, or 4 miles a day, just walking. And by the way, mental health is gonna improve over this. You're gonna be able to relax, listen to music, listen to some walking meditations on your Abide app or whatever it is, or even listening to podcasts and things like that. Listen to a video like this as you hike. Getting out into the woods or getting out into, around, even in your streets, and just walking every day is gonna help you. I encourage you, actually, I'll put a link in a video about how I lost 30 pounds walking and didn't even realize it. It's crazy. Walking is an incredible fat burner, even more so than running for different reasons, and I explain it in that article, so I'll include that in the description. So walk. The next thing you wanna do, eliminate sugar. Now, before you get angry at me, sugar is really, really problematic for the human body. It's one of the main causes of inflammation in the human body, and inflammation is the #1 precursor for all of these chronic diseases we're talking about. So if you wanna help your body, you wanna flush out the sugar. And so do this for 40 days. Start walking, get rid of sugar out of your diet. The next thing you want to do, don't drink your calories. Commit over the next 40-day period or whatever period you've set to not drink your calories. Today's juices, today's soda, obviously no soda, but today's juices are not healthy for you. They've got added sugar in them, and even if they don't, fruit has plenty of sugar, and juice is just sugar without the fiber that the fruit has. So you don't want to be drinking cranberry juice, fruit juice. You don't want to also drink milk. Arnold Schwarzenegger said milk is for babies. I agree. Don't drink milk. Adults shouldn't be drinking something that baby calves drink to grow. That's literally what that's for. So I avoid drinking milk with your meals. It's packed with lots of fat, and usually industrial cows, their fat is filled with toxins. You don't want that. It's also filled with extra sugar. And by the way, the lower fat, the milk, the higher the sugar to make up for the taste. So you're not getting better in either direction you go, whether it's 2%, 1% non-fat or whole milk. It's all bad in every area. So avoid drinking your calories. When you put coffee in it, I like to call sugar and cream melted ice cream. Don't put melted ice cream in your coffee in the morning. Drink your coffee black, or even use like a few drops of stevia, or even a splash of coconut cream, of something like that, or almond milk. Unsweetened almond milk will be really good, but don't put melted ice cream in your coffee. That is something we used to do in the 60s, and some of us still do it. Avoid that, because you're taking a really, really great polyphenol like coffee, and you're destroying it by adding melted ice cream in it. So avoid melted ice cream in your coffee. Next thing, protect your sleep. Protect your sleep. You've got to protect your sleep, okay? Make sure that your sleep is paramount. Sleep like what do they call it? Sleep like a serial killer in your room, where all of the rooms, everything's blacked out in your room, and you create a sleep cave for yourself. Technology in the evenings is going to destroy your sleep and ruin your circadian rhythm. Get things like blue blocking glasses. You can get yellow tinted or even red tinted. I encourage you to get some red tinted blue blocking glasses, even from True Dark, and I'll put the link in the description below for those. I've got a few pairs of those. My wife has a few pairs, and those really, really are great, and they block out 99% of all of the blue light. The red ones do, and the yellow ones I think are around 70%. So you can wear those in the evening, and it protects your eyes from the TV, protects your eyes from the refrigerator light, protects your eyes from the bathroom light, protects your eyes from your phone, all these different things. So protect your sleep. A tablespoon of raw local honey before bed will help spike insulin and then put you to bed a little easier to help aid the fact that you don't have any sugar. So if you get some local honey, it'll help with your allergies. Get a did I say tablespoon or teaspoon? But you need a teaspoon, not a tablespoon if I said that. Teaspoon of raw local honey, help fight allergies, adapt you to the environment around you, but also give you a blood insulin spike, let you sleep a lot better. So I encourage you to try that. Protect your sleep. And then the last thing you want to do, remember, so walking, eliminating sugar, don't drink your calories, protect your sleep. And then the last thing here, no fried or breaded food. Nothing fried, nothing breaded. Now there's all sorts of problems with food quality in terms of cooking method, and I address that in the 6 health hacks, and you can watch that video if you want to know more about it. But if you can avoid this, you're going to save yourself a lot of toxicity in your way you cook, and you're also going to save yourself the temptation of eating lots of bad food. So if you can do these 5 practical things after you cast your vision, after you begin to create momentum, you're going to be well on your way to growing in your health and wellness philosophies. And so, hey, listen, I want you to run the race well. I want you to enjoy your life. I want you to live optimally. And the way you do that is by taking small, simple habit steps in the right direction. This video is the first step in that direction. So I hope this helps you. If you thought this was helpful, will you just do me a favor? Will you like the video or comment in the comment section, and then subscribe to my channel? I want to get more of this information out to other people. I'll see you next time.